Yo, 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 what is going on, guys? Glad to be here the Sunday afternoon with the boys, D Money and Draco Cat. We are feeling refreshed and better now that we're back from TwitchCon, which was an amazing trip. Hopefully, everybody out there is having a great, like I said, Sunday. Should be an exciting episode. We had balance changes, we had a new card game release, maybe the meta shift. I don't know. We gotta take a look at it. With that, what's going on, guys? Hey, D Money. Hey, Draco.
Yo, thanks for having me, bro. What's up? I don't know if I'm feeling refreshed here. I sound like shit, but happy to be here though. Let's go.
And yeah, glad you're feeling better. Sorry you've been sick, Dan. Um, I
Yeah,
uh,
Draco gave me COVID at TwitchCon, so
I don't
I
think
don't think
that's what
that's true.
happened.
I don't think that's true.
Pretty sure that's not what happened. Um, I just got back from being at my in-laws over the weekend. We had a pretty fun day in like central Pennsylvania yesterday. But it's nice being home. You know, my cats are freaking out. Excited to watch the end of House of the Dragon tonight. It's gonna be great. Really stoked for that. And I've actually had some fun playing Hearthstone this week, surprisingly. So who knows? But I think I was
Nice.
just because I was winning, right? That's got to be it.
yes, that's usually how
You
it goes.
did
Yeah.
win a lot, like above 80% win rate to Legend, and then kept an above 80% win rate the whole time in Legend. So yeah, I'd have to say Hearthstone's probably feeling
pretty good.
pretty good. Hearthstone's feeling pretty good.
I knew it would happen though. I just want to say that because I always was saying like, Demon Hunter is feeling good, but then it was like, okay, once Miracle Rogue is nerfed, and then the mini set came out, and it's like, all right, okay, once Beast Hunter is nerfed, and now they've both been nerfed, and Demon Hunter feels like it has I can play it now and not have to lose against like, well, I think the meta just got a lot more diverse since the last balance changes. So like I'm not playing against like 90% of the same deck. Like it's not all Beast Hunter anymore. There's like I know
That
I
is
mean
true.
I'm sure there definitely are decks that people gravitate to more than others. I'm not saying that, but there's like I'm seeing a wider range of opponents, whether they're playing like Jailer Paladin or Imp Warlock, the occasional Beast Hunter Straggler, the 40 card Spooky Mages, the Ramp Druids, the Naga like it's all in the game now. So um I think that's always just the better experience of Hearthstone when there's like a whole bunch of different decks that people play, because I feel like I get really aggravated when I just play against like the same thing. So I like it when we hit metas like this.
Yes, I'm glad you're facing a lot of different classes. I mean, before the balance change, it was definitely like mostly Hunter, but even now, like, we still, this is like probably the longest it's been since I've not hit Legend, and that's because I don't have like the motivation, and there's just like more meme decks to play or whatever. But like, I mainly just see the Hunter as we see at the top at 53.2%, even after the nerfs, which we'll cover here in a second. Like, still very good, still very popular. And then you have like the Warlock coming in second, which is like the Curse Imp stuff, which again is like super, super popular. And then mainly Mage. I haven't seen a lot of Shaman or Paladin, surprisingly, but yeah, Hunter, Warlock, Mage is literally all I've seen. Like that's encompasses like 95% of all the games I've played this past week. Like just those three classes. And while that's I guess
Interesting.
better than just one, like it like D5 to D1 is literally just those three. And then 5% makes up all the other ones.
Um, I actually I face a decent amount of different classes, but every deck that I face is very toxic still. For sure. I mean, like sometimes I'll face like three different rogue decks, and they all scam me in different ways, and it's a lot of fun. But I've been getting a bit of diversity, as we see right here on the chart that is across all ranks, all regions. This is actually like the most, I guess, like the closest win rate, uh, whatever, we've seen in like a little while. Like Warrior, even at the bottom, it's not even that far away from a few of these classes. So it's a bit like we're seeing more classes being able to be played, which is cool. It's just like it's the same stuff that we've seen for a while now. It's just like recycled a bit. So it's not really that exciting. Like every matchup is still pretty lackluster, and a lot of scams still out there. A lot of scams.
Yes, definitely. There's a lot of high rolling in Rogue. I mean, Jackpot is literally called Jackpot. Um, so eh, it's all right. I'm looking
Not even
forward to
just
the next
jackpot though.
expansion. I mean, a lot of the decks do scam right now. So, I mean, I
They
get it.
do. Scamming is
Um,
fun though. People like scamming, but they don't like to be scammed, right?
Yes, yes.
yeah.
I
I
think it's
mean, like
better
you
than
mentioned,
the like the Highlander scams though. Like at one point in the end of like the Sen of Dragons, like every deck was doing these insane swing turns and blowout turns like every game, like where it was like really hard to tell like who was winning and stuff because like you never know when they're gonna like Zephyrs and then clear the board and play a 0 mana Alex Straza and then like I don't know like any of their actual class cards that are good too. But you know what I mean? Like that was that meta was super swingy and scammy. But so this one's a little bit bad, I would say. But
yeah, something to
Yo, I
note
gotta get
though
my
that
cat over here. Sorry.
I know
You
everybody's
guys
got their
both have
pets
your.
right now. Well, Duders is really pathetic because he just got his balls chopped off. So it's been such a hassle. Like
Oh.
I don't understand how you're supposed to like not allow the dog to like he's not supposed to run, play, stretch, like jump, move, breathe, like the list of things he can't do because he might open up his stitches is insane. And like, bro, he's a dog. That's all he wants to do. So it's
it's like
been it's
all the
been a
things dogs
hassle.
do.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, how do you make him not do this? Like, he's gonna lose his fucking mind, and he doesn't want to wear this cone thing. So I've been not getting as much sleep because I have to like I wake up in the middle of the night when I hear him move around because I don't want him fucking up his stitches. So
Aw,
yeah, been a bit of a
poor
hassle,
dude.
but
Little baby.
yeah, he's
D-
healing
d-
real good though. He's healing real good. So hopefully within the next couple days he'll be able to get his toys again and whatnot and lose his fucking mind. But we'll see. Um. But D Money did bring up a good point saying like the classes are as close as they have been. That is true. I mean, for the past couple weeks,
53 to
even I
46.
want to say months, like we've seen Warrior dip down in the low of 39, I believe, percent at one point. Now it's up at 46 and just about half, and then the highest is 52 or 53.2. So, I mean, while playing Warrior is probably again not in your best interest if you're looking forward to winning, it's definitely not, I guess, necessarily as bad as it was um in the previous metas. I don't really see anything here that surprises me besides maybe the Demon Hunter and the Rogue being as low as they are because I feel like those decks are good right now.
And
But the
Priest
Demon
has
Hunter
like the
and
best deck in the game, and it's also
yes,
at 47.
yeah, we've been through that though. Like the Naga Priest is just not a fun deck to play. Like this is like probably one of the one and only exclusions that we've ever had where a deck is as powerful as Naga Priest. Like the deck is just good. It is so good. Like we have like what is one of the best decks in the game and people don't play it because it's not fun. And that is unlike Hearthstone players because Hearthstone players in general like to play the best decks in the game and they like winning almost regardless of the class and regardless of the deck and regardless of the play style. We've seen people
Indeed.
gravitate towards the most degenerate, non-fun games, and Priest, Naga Priest, still people don't want to play it, which is crazy to
It's
me. Like that,
amazingly
it's an
disappointing that
anomaly.
fact. I remember when like Shaman was actually broken, like or what was that spell? Like the Illuminate one, bioluminescence. It accidentally was giving like +2 spell power. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
And then actually everyone started playing it, like and refining it because it was broken, like literally broken. And that was when I was like, oh my God, everyone's like actually an asshole who plays this game. Like people are really trying to climb with the deck that has a literal bug that made it stronger. Like that blew my mind, man.
Yeah, I mean the thing about Wig Priest is that it just like all ins. Like you all in one time usually at the beginning, and then if it doesn't win, then you're fucked. But if it wins, then like it wins.
You
So
win.
I feel like people just don't want to play these all in decks, and they want to play a deck that gets to do more than just one pop off turn kind of thing, or like two pop off turns. So I totally
Aggro
get
Druid's
it.
kind of the same, right?
Aggro Druid, yeah, I mean, it's not really. I don't think it's played that much. I think Ramp Druid is played a lot more. But
Yeah,
the
It's all
current
in.
iteration of Aggro Druid without like compostings and stuff, yeah, it's a lot more all in.
that's all in. Hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
If they play all
the
their
aggro
cards,
decks
and if
have,
you clear it, you lose, or they lose, and if you don't, they
yeah.
win.
And that's why I think we're seeing like why Curse Imp Warlock is so like popular, right? Because it's an aggro
Yep.
deck, but it like has these huge pop off turns, but it doesn't stop popping off. Like it's just turn after turn after turn. Whether you're dealing with imps, you have to deal with imp buffs, you have to deal with the imp draws, you have to deal with the burst damage from Vile Library if a minion lives, you have to deal with the curse stuff. Like it to me, the Imp Curse Warlock is probably one of the best aggro decks. I think I don't even know if we can call it an aggro deck. It just has like it just never runs out of steam, and you have to deal with it. It's just like
Non-stop.
it's insane. Yeah, it's just
It can do
Yeah,
like a
it's super
lot
good
of
deck
things.
right
Yeah.
now.
like you
I
clear the
feel like
board
Imp Warlock
and
though,
it
it
does
does have
nothing.
a weakness, right? Like Imp Warlock has weaknesses to exploit at least though. It's not like Beast Hunter, or I guess Beast Hunter had some weaknesses too, which was just clearing and staying alive. But like I feel like Warlock, like the reason they're super good is because they have that curse package in the late game to follow up the early game imp package, right? Like
Yeah,
because but the curse package, those cards are all like bad stats and not super mana efficient. So like ideally there's like this small window against imp warlocks where you deal with the early imp board or they don't draw super good. And you can just like counter pressure them. And if you can like actually like build a like if you could it's not too hard to stick something against a warlock until they get that what is the AoE with the
Abyssal
6
Wave.
mana
Missile
AoE?
Wave. Yep.
Yeah. Aside is Soul Wave, which is an incredibly expensive card. It's pretty easy to like play around Soul Wave and then like get a minion to stick. And then once that happens, you kind of have your window to kill them before they can do the curse pop off turns with Bran and stuff and ramp them up. So like there's this small window where they're pivoting from like the imp game plan to the curse game plan. And if you catch them right in the middle and like develop, then they die. But that gets super good because they can also like not draw bad, and they play like Flame Imp on 1, Vile Library on 2, the one what is it the Fiendish Circle on 3, and then you kill it, and then on 4 they drop the 3/3 imps, and on turn
Yeah,
5 they do
yeah,
whatever the fuck they want to, and then on turn 6 they drop her Fom, or something like that. Like you just can't beat that though, like
yeah. It's just
It's
really
a deck
good.
that has non-stop,
Yeah,
non-stop
like you
pressure, non-stop.
and
Yeah.
the Vile Library doesn't need to be used on imps, right? Like if any minion lives, they just play the imps and then buff the non one, which I think is
it's an
kind of like a
interesting
big
nerf
deal.
idea.
Yeah, yeah, because like you just have to like every single thing is a threat at all points in time, like because of that card. Um, so, but I think we hammered this out enough. I don't think there's anything here that necessarily
Next
surprises us. Like I
section.
said, besides that Demon Hunter and Rogue being at the bottom there. Yeah, so our next section here will be the tier 1 and tier 2 decks that are currently being played at top 1000 legend across all regions, and I will read them down from the top. We have Curse Imp Warlock performing, like we know, very good. Naga Priest, which we've just talked about, and it's, like we said, second best deck at tier 1, top 1000 legend across all servers. Deck's insane. Thing is, it's fucking horrible to play. People hate playing it. It's not a fun deck to play. We have Beast Hunter still at the top. We will talk about the nerfs to Beast Hunter. That's in our next segment. But Beast Hunter did just get nerfed, and it is, again, still top of tier 1 across all regions, again, at top 1000, which just shows how good Hunter was. Like, bro, it got 3. How many decks in history have gotten 3 cards nerfed, still sits at the top? I want to bet none. Enrage Warriors.
Yeah.
Very surprising here. Enrage Warrior, very good. Imp Warlock, Aggro Druid, Control Shaman, Aggro Demon Hunter, Big Spell Mage, Control Paladin, and Fell Demon Hunter. So we actually have quite a bit of decks that are tier 1, tier 2 at top 1000 that on the overall rank that we just covered were like bottom of those lists. Specifically looking at Demon Hunter and Mage and Warrior.
Well, I think we did a really
Yeah.
good job of knowing what this was going to look like just from playing the game. I just wanted to say that for all 3 of us right here, because when we were doing the previous explanation, I didn't even look at this list before we went in to talk about it. Were you looking at the list when we were talking about Imp Warlock and Naga Priest? Because I was surprised to see like
No.
all of it line up perfectly.
No, I had no idea.
So go us on that.
That's why they call us the Metabreakers, buddy.
Yeah, so there's another deck that it's secretly performing really well, and people also don't want to play it. Do you know what that is? Can you guess it, guys?
Um,
Bell
a
Relic
secret
DH.
deck that's performing really
It's not
well.
Demon Hunter.
It's not a
something that I
DH,
would play.
and I don't think it's priest. I don't think it's a shaman.
It's this
It's
Vandar Rogue.
the Miracle
No.
Rogue. I don't think it's not the Miracle. It might be the Topior
It's
Druid.
fucking Bomb Rogue, guys.
Oh,
That
Bomb
deck is
Rogue.
good again.
That's not a secret.
Yeah, but no one wants to play it. That's my point. Like it's surprising.
Everybody wants to play it against me.
But it's actually
Bomb
really
Rogue works.
It's doing really well.
In like the top
Really?
200 or whatever, I play against that shit a lot.
Yep. So
Oh.
like, if any of you guys want to play a really degenerate deck that's good and not anyone knows it really yet, that'd be Bomb Rogue right now, guys.
I tried playing it. It felt really bad versus any 40 card deck though. Like the deck is built. It was built in a way to like do 30 damage with decks having 40 health and then also the ability to heal a lot of the times. Like I feel like it's not that good against certain matchups. But like, yeah, if you're seeing a lot of Curse Imp Warlock or like Naga Priest that are at 30 health, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, the deck is designed to beat that 30 health. But if you're queuing it against like Druid and stuff with 40 health and Scale of Onyxia, not Scale of Onyxia, the Scale of whatever the fuck it's called and you lose.
Prison Scale.
Like, yeah, that thing. Like, what the fuck? Like, what are you gonna do?
Well, it's not just bombs. That's the thing. It's the it's got like the
5/8.
Burning Blade Acolytes as well, and it's just like
Oh,
you're
the
getting in
hybrid
chip
one.
damage.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. Okay, never mind. All right.
That's the deck I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
okay,
That
all right,
deck
all right.
with the 5/8. It actually, when I
Yes.
was watching some of the gameplay of it, it was beating a lot of the Imp Warlock players because the 5/8s play around Soul Rend. Is that what you're talking about? That card's called the 6-mana
Abyssal
AoE
Wave.
that gives
Abyssal
you-
Wave. Abyssal
Yeah.
Wave.
Yeah, Soul Wave.
You messed
It
up the
plays
name of
around
that
Soul
card
Wave and you
twice
can't deal
now.
with it.
Soul Wave.
He's been watching your stream too much, bro.
Yeah, he's just making up his own names. I like it.
Damn it, guys.
Oh shit.
Soul Wave.
And Rage
Sounds like a
Warrior
cool
though.
card, yo.
Soul Wave.
In
yeah.
Rage Warrior. I
It's
don't
like a
know
combo
what
deck.
that is.
I'm gonna play that
Have
today.
you ever lost to this? That deck feels crazy to lose against. Like they play like the fucking what is it? Is it Grom? The charge, like the classic charge card?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
much?
Hellscream. They
Yeah.
go location
I don't
Grom
even
and you
think they
take
do
half
that.
your life. Or they
Yeah.
get it juiced with the juicer boy, the 2-mana 1/4 that buffs a card in your hand. That's nice. And then they hit you in
Anima
the face for like
Extractor.
20. Yes, the extractor.
Yeah, this deck is actually like pretty good against other board-based decks, but if you queue into a mage, you're gonna just lose automatically. You're gonna have a horrible time. Like there's certain matchups that you could just queue into and you just like automatically lose. But if you queue into the right thing, like maybe a druid or probably even imp warlock, you could probably you could take the board over pretty well and just dominate like once you do it. So it's good sometimes. It's a fun deck to play. I don't know why the win rate's so high here. Maybe people think it's a rogue they're playing against and then they mulligan differently. I don't know. But
I think people don't like. First of all, early game AoE, there's not a lot of decks that have that right now. It's mainly on the board in the early game. And if Enraged Warrior sticks like 2 or 3 minions, like, and they play that weapon, they just win. So I think it has a factor of, like you said, they might think it's rogue. They don't know how to play against Enraged Warrior, and then they undervalue like the minions sticking, and there's not a lot of like early game AoE. I mean, at one time we had like people playing Soul Ren in the Warlock and stuff like that. The 4-mana clear everything, and that would just shit on this deck. But right now, I mean, if you look at all the best decks, what do they do against playing a minion every turn until turn 4 or 5? Like, there's not that much AoE. Like, the best AoE, you know, we're talking about like Abyssal Wave on turn 6 that does 4. 4 damage is not going to clear like an 8/8 Taskmaster that's been buffed every turn. So
that's true. It does have a snowball, like it can snowball.
Yeah.
It just really depends on the matchup again. Like if you play against a mage, they're just gonna freeze your shit and then eventually
oh yeah,
deal with it. So
yeah. Yeah. You play
And
against
there's a
a
lot of
mage, you're
mages going
done.
around.
There
Even though
is.
we don't
There's a
really
lot of
see it
mages.
on this. Don't really
Well,
see
it's
it on
at
the
the
foot.
mid of tier 2, big spell mage there. And that's definitely also a very like I normally don't have a problem with mage, but big spell mage feels awful to play against. Like even before the stream or the podcast today, I was watching Jay Alexander and he kept queuing against big mage, and he's like, man, like I just wish these games ended faster. He's like, the worst part about playing mage is playing mage, and then once it's done, I'm just like, thank God. Regardless, win or lose, it just you don't even care. You just want to not play against it because Rune of the Archmage, it's just annoying. It's mainly, I think it has to be Rune of the Archmage, right? Like all the other cards they play in the deck do what they say, but Rune of the Archmage, I mean, it's like, what the fuck? It's like, whether it's clearing my board, drawing a bunch of cards, playing a bunch of secrets, you don't know. Like you don't know. So I
Dude,
definitely see
that card is very
frustrations there.
gives you a lot of emotions, right? Like anytime someone plays Rune against me, I'm like, okay, like I just like in my head, I'm just like, all right, what am I gonna watch
Yeah, I
happen
mean, you have
here?
this random, you have this big random effect, and then it's on top of all these different freeze cards that are just stalling out, and then solid alibi, and it's just like already very annoying cards to play against, and then it's just like huge wild card that's probably going to wipe your board and then make you feel like shit. Yeah.
I had someone
And
play a big spell mage against me, and they were about to kick my ass and win the whole game, and they were like, I was losing so bad. And I played Rune of the Archmage, and then it just played Arcane Intellect over and over and over and over again. And I was like, no way, dude. Is this it just played only Arcane Intellects. It was incredible.
and that's a
So
highlight. That better be a
That's a
highlight.
YouTube short.
That's
yeah,
that's
I
that's
do
so
have it.
short, baby.
It's in a video.
Perfect.
But
And
it hasn't came out yet. But when it happened to me, I was just like, no way. Dude, like so that I try to remember that there are moments like that when people play Rune and just lose. There are a lot of they're probably not really what is the word memorable in your head, but there are moments where people play Rune and it just like really doesn't do anything. And although that's not unlucky for them, and most of the time it does do good things. So yeah, but I don't know. That card works me up, man. So I know what you mean by that, Rob, and what Jay was saying about how the deck is like you just want it to be over. Is I
yeah.
think my least favorite thing to play against are the random secrets that come out of the runes.
Yep.
Because I'm like,
Yep. That's bad too. Every part of it's bad. It's just all bad. But you know what is actually bad is Convoke the Spirits, which has a similar effect to Rune of the Archmage. And this is just interesting. Is like you have these two spells that both play random spells. One of them is like play 20 mana's worth, and the other one's just play 8 druid spells. One of them played all the time, very high caliber, amazing card. And then you have Convoke, which is just bad. But it's like, all right, well, what makes one of those, and it has to be like the class, right? Because the mage just has a bunch of AoE and direct damage, and then druid doesn't have any AoE. And it just like the spell packages between the two decks is weird, but like when you look at druid spells, all of them are good. So I don't know. I think that's an interesting comparison to make. And like you have two spells that are basically the same that are in two different classes. One of them sees play all the time, and the other one doesn't see any play.
I think it's an interesting thing to analyze because the druid spells do a lot of different kinds of things than the mage spells. So the ranges and the mage and Rune of the Archmage also says targets enemies when applicable. But like if that was what the druid spell what's it called? If that was what the 10 mana druid spell did, it would be bad for the druid because they would be buffing your dudes. So it's kind of hard to compare those cards, even though they are similar in like a very obvious way, you know?
Yeah.
But I agree
All right.
though. It is interesting to think about that.
Yeah.
I think the one thing that adds so much power in Mage that it really frustrates me with the big spell Mage deck is that new secret that came out in the mini set that counters a
Objection.
minion. Objection. Yeah, that card is trolling, dude. I feel like this has happened to me a whole bunch of times this week. So I don't play Rune to get one secret. I have lethal if I play Jace. I'm just like, like I don't know if I can not do this, but like it's if this is objection, I lose the whole game. Yeah, and that makes me like that gives me a lot of emotions too. So
It's a very powerful secret.
it's
And
super
a lot of
good.
people, I've been playing like a Vandar secret rogue right now that runs perjury. which is a new secret that gets you discover a secret from another class at the beginning of your turn, and they somehow always get objection as that new secret. It's crazy.
That that rogue secret
I
needs to
think
cost 1 mana.
perjury is really surprisingly good. Like, did you guys? Because when that came out, everyone was like,
Nah, I
"Eesh."
don't. I think it triggering like you're playing a 2 mana card that doesn't do anything, and then like you pick it at the start of your opponent's next turn, and then most of the time you just want a mage secret, and it's only going to show you most of the time 1 mage secret, and you want the mage secret because it's worth 3 mana and you paid 2, right? It's just the better of the secret packages that you can get. Like you almost never pick the paladin one, so you're like playing this card and it does nothing for a turn, and that's not what you want to do with a rogue in the early game. You want to like survive a little bit. So I think if perjury was 1 mana, it would make that card a lot better. And like, I don't know, I think 2 mana is just.
But it's a rogue secret, so it has to be 2, right? Because that's how much
I know it
rogue
has
secrets
to be. Well,
cost.
it's not. I guess, but like, I don't know. Like,
Yes, it has to.
I feel like it just doesn't. It's just not. It's cool.
It
It
is
should-
good, bro.
It
It's
should
good. You,
discount the secret by 2. Is that what you think? So it doesn't actually lose you mana. It does the rogue
Yeah, I
thing?
don't because if you pick paladin or hunter, you literally just opted to not play a secret that turn. But I guess if you are gonna
But
like
you
really
discovered
look at
You
it,
chose it.
yeah, I guess you discovered it. But like that is discovering a spell, discovering a secret better than just like playing a good secret. You know what I mean? If that was just
Well,
a
Okay, well,
good
there's
rogue
some of the
secret,
better secrets aren't in the better secrets are not in rogue, right? So
okay.
in that situation, yes, because the rogue secrets aren't that good. But the problem with the secret package was that you didn't really have the ability to put all those shitty secrets in your deck and have consistency with the powerful cards like Gravedigger, like the one that does the Selena effect that you can run
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Like
So
the fourth
that was my next point is you can have a secret on your turn without it procking for the cards that require you to have secrets. That was the next point. Yeah. So like
Yeah,
yes.
exactly. Like that card gives you like an agency of consistency of like maintaining secrets without having to put a whole bunch of the bad secrets in your deck. So it allows like the powerful secret cards to have a more consistent enabler where beforehand you kind of had to be held around the I guess like whether or not your opponent is going to use all their mana or play a spell or play a minion, and like that stuff will happen sometimes, and it's kind of hard to predict the way your opponent's going to play around those things. So, perjury gives you a lot more control over finding like secrets to keep up and does the same thing itself, thus making those cards better. And I think that's why people run it, you know? Like,
I mean, first of all, you're never paying mana for the secret anyway because you just play the 3/4 guy. And you get it out of your deck. But yes, like the consistency is very good, and then just like the fact that your opponent doesn't know what the secret is, so they might play around they might play around the double cross secret by not spending all their mana. They might not play a spell for the spider thing, so it is just good just because the secret,
Yeah.
like in
I
general.
guess you guys are selling me
I
on
do
it.
that all the time against it. Like, I will not use all my mana when my opponent plays a
Exactly.
perjury. Like, I'll avoid doing like a hero power with Demon Hunter just because I don't want to give them cards. And then it was a fucking perjury. Like I just lost the damage, and that happens to me like all day long. So in that way, it's definitely making an effect. Like it's saving them health
Yeah.
as well.
Okay. I'm sold. You got me.
Interesting points though, right? Like how that card was like because everyone looked at it and was like, this card is bad, but it actually is making rogues in the secret package itself be a lot more viable now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that. I believe I will be switching my opinion on that card to being good, and it doesn't need to be changed. You see that, chat? You see how I said something, and then Draco and D Money also hit me with something that they think, and then I thought what they think was better than what I think, and then I agreed with them. We're gonna write that down. That's a good life lesson, chat.
We need
Takes
more
a
of that.
man
all here
of,
lie.
of confidence to admit when he's wrong.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I mean, absolutely. You guys brought up bigger points than me, and you got to know that. All right, so let's take a
Control
look at the
Paladin. Let's
nerfs.
talk about that. Did you guys play against
All
that
right,
one?
you want to talk control paladin? Okay. All right, no more nerfs yet.
Jailers, like people who are like so the weirdest thing about fucking Paladin right now. It's interesting. Like everyone always hates Paladin. Everyone shits on Paladin. No one wants to play Paladin. Paladin is smooth brain on the Warshack stream, as we say it.
It is.
But the Paladin people are playing now is like all of the like I guess like the people that stream the more, I guess what they would refer to as complex decks are now all trying to refine Paladin.
If you
It's a
think that
jailer.
deck is complex, we gotta have a talk.
There's nothing
Here,
complex
I'm gonna
about
break it
that.
down. I'm gonna give you a free guide
Why
right
don't you
here, a
give them a
free 1
breakdown?
minute.
I'm not saying it's complex. I didn't say that at all, did
I'm
I?
gonna give you a
I said the
1 minute
people
guide
that
here,
refer to
Draco.
liking complex decks are enjoying playing this.
Yeah, well, they gotta rebrand themselves because that's
Why
not.
don't you break it down for the listeners though? What does this deck do?
I'll break it down in like 30 seconds, bro. All right. Just play your early game cards, just stall out. Play Order in the Court, rearrange your deck, play Carry All, play Jailer, you win the game. Good job. It's the same thing every fucking game. It's linear as fuck. I hate it.
It's really easy to beat with Relic Demon Hunter though. It's like
Well,
impossible for them to win sometimes.
it's definitely beatable. It's not unbeatable. It's very strong, but it's just it's so linear. It plays the same way every single game. It's so boring to play against. It's because they just do the same shit. It's just the only thing that changes is like what random cards do they get from their discovers from like Battle Vicar and whatever. But yeah, you just rearrange your deck. You play the hero card. You play Jailer, and then you play Denathrius usually, and that is usually too much to deal with a lot of decks if you can get to that point, which you typically can. But there's certain
I've
decks
never
that
seen
do
the deck
well against
work
it.
because I play Relic Demon Hunter all the time. So I actually had
You
no
just
clue
kill it.
what it did. So I'm glad you were able to not only inform the listeners, but inform me. Because in all the games that I play,
You're welcome.
I'm kidding. I've seen the deck played on other streams, but like I've never actually like had it pop off against me. I've never had someone play Jailer.
Yeah.
I've
I
never
mean, you
seen
play
it done.
faster decks though. Like relic decks demand like answers. And so you're always
You don't really give them time
making
to
them.
breathe.
Yeah, yeah. You're the one asking like, can you get rid of this? If the answer is no, you die. Can you get rid of this? If the answer is no, you die. And so if you play like a slower deck, like, you know, Control Warrior or something, like they just have all the time in the world, right? So if you, and even Mage sometimes, because they don't have like a lot of like strong minions in the early game. They got rid of the Archmage, but whatever. But a
Yeah.
good note about the Control Paladin is it was doing really good against the Imp Warlock because of Cariel and
Yep.
the curses and just overall the control factor of being able to board clear every turn. Sometimes the Paladin and the Warlock was having a hard time, but now the Warlocks, man, these guys are so smart. They're teching in Viper to the deck. A lot of curse warlocks,
Man, these
curse imp
guys are
warlocks
so
are playing
smart. It's fucking
Viper.
I did
hilarious.
that
They're
first.
so smart. So yeah, they're playing Vipers now, and again, just watching other streamers. I was Jay Alexander this morning. He was playing against a lot of curse imp warlock, and he happened to be playing a deck that ran like the combo weapon rogue card. And he was getting vipered by imp warlocks targeting Paladin, but just so happens to also do well against his deck because his deck does generate that giant weapon. And he he was having a small meltdown about that. But yeah, so Vipers are
As
in
one would
the Curse Imp
expect.
Warlock night. Yeah, I mean, I'd be pissed. Like I was playing, what did I have? I was playing Demon Hunter and I had the Lifestealy, I had the Healy Blades, and I played them on turn 3, and then my opponent just played Viper, and it was an Imp Warlock. I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? It's like, this is so uncool. It's like, why?
I'm
And then
glad
I
the
lost.
Vipers are having fun. Or I'm glad the Warlocks are having fun actually breaking everyone's weapon, though. That's funny.
No, it's
I don't believe in running Viper, though.
No. I mean, I believe in running Viper to kill Cariel. You'll never, even though I dislike the Imp Curse Warlock. I think that's kind of the new Smooth Brain. I think I still dislike Cariel more. So, her losing her weapon and them taking full damage, the Paladins deserve it. Every ounce of it. Take them out. All right. Patch note time?
All right. Let's do it.
Okay. Theo, the Mad Duke, everybody's favorite card. Or not so favorite card. So, we knew this card was probably going to get nerfed. A lot of people hate it. A lot of people like it. I think it's a little interesting because people were talking about disruption in the hand for the longest time, whether it be like Lotheb, to make spells cost more, Dirty Rat to pull cards from the hand. We had Hecklebot at one time, pull a minion from the deck. We had Mutanus, which everybody loved because it ate a minion in your opponent's hand. And they're like, we need more hand disruption. Our opponents are OTKing us and killing us in one turn. And, you know, OTK Demon Hunter when Iggy was around is bullshit. And they had Mind Render Lucia. And then that did hand disruption, but people were, that got nerfed. And then now they printed Theo, which is like a great hand disruption tool. But they do these things, and then everybody hates the card, and they're like, what were you thinking printing this? Are you crazy? And, you know, my mind, Blizzard's like, you literally fucking asked for this. You literally have been asking for this card forever. We gave it to you, and you hate us. Like, that's my stance on Theo. Because people asked for this card for so many expansions, they got it, and they go, you know what, fuck this card.
I think Theo gets a bad rap because I think he does. This is what we needed in the game. We need disruption, and they printed a lot of disruption recently. This is like Warshack is saying, like, this is what we needed in the game. All right, whether you like it or not, this is it. It's like when you have these really, really big, powerful cards that there's no way to play around besides just like going face and killing them. So, yes, this card is necessary in the game, but this card definitely it's a feel bad card. It's a toxic card to play against for sure because they're taking a card out of your hand. That's just inherently toxic. But the part that makes it really toxic is that there's cards like the Nathrius and like Jailer that these are cards that you play the card and you win the game. And if you like if you get rid of that card, if you hit that card, then it feels really freaking bad. So because we have those cards in the game that are like because the game is so power crept and we have these really, really powerful cards that you need to play to win the game, it feels even worse. And that's what I think is triggering so many people. It's not Theo's fault, it's these other powerful cards that exist. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think
I think
I've never been a Theo hater. Even though I agree, well, I understand why people feel bad about it or like dislike it, him. But yeah, I think it's I think just increasing the mana was like a solid nerf. I don't think I hope it can remain to be like still like the best interruption card ever printed at 5 mana, which it would be most likely. So hopefully it can just maintain its like a small presence just to discourage everyone's least favorite style of like combo decks. You know what I mean? Like, so there's no more OTK Demon Hunters with Il'gynoth and shit, you know?
yeah,
I don't
I
know.
mean,
I want
I,
combos to
I
exist as well, but I don't like that when it's popular.
I think also what went into like his dislike was every deck played him. And I don't like cards like that in general, where you just have such a powerful neutral card that every single deck, if you
That's
don't run
true.
this card, it's a mistake, right? So now when he's at 5 mana, I mean, we were seeing this card in aggro decks, we were seeing this card in mid-range decks, we were seeing this card in control decks. Now, aggro decks have pretty much dropped Theo, right? This is more definitely a control card now. You're seeing this more in decks that like they play slower, right? And I think that's much better because again, the feeling of seeing a card every game and then when you lose that game and you continuously see this card, you associate the loss with the card you always see, and that harbors resentment, right? So I think the nerf like was needed. That's fine. They can nerf them. But the card itself, I think, is very important to be in the game. Stuff like this that we don't have, you know, these really just absolutely greedy, you know, the decks that I play, decks that revolve around these stupid fucking combos that you just lose to and you have nothing to do against it. You know what I mean? And now you have answers, whether it be from Theo, from Mutanus, from you, whatever that new warrior spell is that no one plays that costs 1 mana. You know, you just have answers, and I think the ability to have an answer for something that you would not is important because Hearthstone is a game where you cannot interact on your opponent's turn. So being able to disrupt your opponent's turn instead of actually doing things on your opponent's turn is the only answer that we have. And Theo does that. And at 5 mana or at 4, I think 5 is a little bit better. So we just don't see him in every deck.
But you know a game you can interact on your opponent's turn where you both play at the same time? No, we're not. We're not up to that yet. We're not up to that. Sorry. But yes, Theotar definitely increasing the meta exactly as Rob said, making it to 5 mana and making it so like aggro decks don't want to run this card as well. Like mid range, you probably still could get away with it. It's still a powerful card at the cost that it is, but I think overall we're all in agreement that this is a good change. As like, of course, nobody likes to see just like a 1 mana change. It seems like it's like a lazy kind of change, but it does make a big difference, that 1 mana, and it's usually overlooked how much of a change 1 mana can make, especially when you start to think about all the different cards that uh, classes play on turn 4 and turn 5. This actually does make a pretty big difference. Still, definitely a really strong disruption card, like Draco saying, one of the strongest, and especially in like a control deck. And and this past year, before 2022, 2021 was literally all combo decks, like taking over the whole entire game. So uh, Hearthstone said they're moving away from that a little bit this year, and the disruption that they've been printing is a really big indicator of them doing so. So I still like this card being playable. It's yeah, it's a good card, but it does feel really really bad when they take your big piece and they win the game. But like I said, that's because you have these really big pieces that you need to win. So yeah, that's it.
Okay. We're going to. I guess we could just bundle the Hunter
Yeah.
nerfs in one because Hunter got hit pretty hard. For
Good
those of you who have
changes.
not been playing, yeah, definitely good changes. For those of you who have not been playing Standard at all, Hunter was running the meta for a good couple weeks there. Due to it's just every card in the deck being very powerful. When they play a card, the card was just above average in stats, very cheap mana cost, or it allowed you to propel later in the game with more tempo. I think these dormant minions in general with wild seeds make it hard to clear with AoE with a lot of decks because they proc at different turns. You're not like most decks when you're playing an aggro based deck or previous hunter decks in the past, you play 2 or 3 minions a turn, and then you can kill those 2 or 3 minions if you have an AoE card, whether it be a Blizzard, Flame Strike, you know what I mean. But with these seeds, the wild seeds, you know, you get 1 minion 1 turn, another minion another turn, another minion another turn, and whether they're summoning weapons, they have rush, they're playing other cards at the same time that deal damage by spells or their hero powers. It's just hard to deal with all of those aspects at one time with no clear answer because you can't just AoE and clear the board because they're proccing at different times. And I think that's kind of what makes them pretty good as well. But yeah, the stag went down from being a 5-4 to a 4-3 after already the Great Bow being nerfed from a 4-2 to a 3-2, which just shows you how good this card was at first, even though you had to dormant for 3 turns, which is dormant 3 turns, a long time for a hunter to sit there and wait for a weapon and a 5-4 that can't attack immediately. But it was that good, where they have now nerfed this card twice, not only in the stat line, but it's the bow that it gives you. The bear got nerfed from a 2-5 to a 2-4. And then the harpoon gun went from reducing the cost of the beast by 3 to reducing of the cost by 2, making it so they can't harpoon gun attack and then play, you know, a turn 4 Hydra Dick or a turn 4 Mama Bear. So Hunter got hit very, very hard here. But yes, it was, I mean, it was just crazy. I mean, Hunter was so good and it was so obviously good. I don't even know why they ever changed harpoon gun. Like, it was already like this is still an amazing card. They just made it straight busted. So and we know that because Hunter is still at the top of ladder, which we can see here. Hunter at 53.2 at tier 1 and top 1k beast hunters. Look at that, third deck down from tier 1. So even with all of these nerfs, 3 nerfs in a row at the same time, Hunter is still performing this well. And I think it's the only time I can't recall any other time a deck's been nerfed. 3 stupidly important cards in the deck been nerfed, and the deck is still tier 1 and still played. Most times, even if a single card is nerfed, everybody leaves the deck. Deck's trash until the next streamer plays it, and it's good.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's just great that this is nerfed. Yeah. This deck was stupid. I'm done with it. but I'm glad it's like not nerfed to the ground and it's still playable. You know, I don't ever want decks to just be completely ruined. It's like what happened to
Warrior.
like Control Warrior and what's that?
Yeah, I just said warrior and you said warrior. You got nuked out of the sky.
Yeah, like Warrior, like Control Warrior was that was a cool deck, you know? And giving it like 9 nerfs. Now you can't be played really. That's like Control Warrior, not Enrage Warrior, but yeah, so I think that like I never really want to see that happen again. So I'm happy that this nerf, though it looks tough from the outside, it was exactly what the deck needed.
I agree.
I agree.
Good job, Dan.
I agree.
Good insight.
Good job,
You
T5.
covered it all, Warshack. You're just it was so good, man. Whatever you said. Oh my god, I love it.
Whatever you said, dude. I see you wearing your Moko shirt, Seed.
Moko Coco.
Moko Coco Seed.
Right.
Dude, those things were so fun to pick up. All right, so the last segment of today is Marvel Snap. It is not in the realm of Hearthstone, but it is a strategy card game similar to Hearthstone. And I think what makes this game important and something we cover is, for those of you who don't know, Ben Brode was the lead designer of Hearthstone, and he had left Hearthstone, what was it, like 3 years ago, something like that, to start his company called Second Dinner, which was focusing on this game, as we can see here. And a lot of people like Ben Brode, a lot of people followed Ben Brode, and I think a lot of success and why Marvel Snap is talked about as it is because of the fact that, like, you know, Ben Brode's behind it. I think that's a giant name, you know, because he was so impactful in like the Hearthstone scene. Everybody loved him. I mean, he was in a lot of their videos, promotional stuff, so everybody loved his laugh and his plaid t-shirts. The fucking iconic red like lumberjack plaid t-shirt. So Dan, if you want to talk about Marvel Snap a little bit, we can.
That's right. Marvel Snap. It is a new card game where you both players. It's very fast paced. The games last 3 minutes or less, and both players play simultaneously. It's super fun. Every single card game player that's touched this game that I've heard of, that I've seen, they've loved the game, including
You
myself.
sound sponsored
Probably-
right now, Dan.
I'm not sponsored, but if you want to
say
sponsor
that?
me, Marvel Snap, if you want to sponsor the podcast, hey. But seriously, this game is really fun. Not sponsored. It's very free to play friendly as well. Like I can't say enough good things out of it about it. Like the art looks great. Like the game is really good, especially for a mainly mobile game. Yeah, it just launched really recently. It's a great time to start playing it, especially when Hearthstone is really struggling these days. Jeez. But yeah, it's a really good time. I've been enjoying it. I played it a lot in the beta off stream. It's a good game, bro. I don't know what else to say. Like it's just good. Like you should just play it. Like just do
I
it.
played it
Use
a
code
decent
DMoney at
amount.
checkout.
I mean, I played a decent amount, but they made a huge misstep, and I actually didn't play it since the misstep. Besides, now that it's actually released, I played a little bit of it. But they tried to do the whole monetization thing, so I'll go into it a little bit, which was like, I think Hearthstone did the same thing with Mercenaries. So they designed like this huge game mode, or maybe not a game mode, this event in Marvel Snap, right? And they were like, this event's gonna be awesome, you guys are gonna love it, there's gonna be all this brand new stuff, it's gonna be sick. You know what I mean? The community's absolutely gonna love this. There's so much to do. And then like they hyped this event up, and they were called Nexus events. And when it released, the Nexus event was literally loot boxes. You just buy these loot boxes, and it gave you like a chance at like skins and like potential at like one of the cards that was part of this event. And the thing was, these loot boxes, this event was supposed to be every month. So it was just from then on, it just continued every month. And then the price of the loot boxes to get all of the stuff you would need, the percentages broke down to you need to spend like $700 or $800 a month to like have the appropriate RNG and averages to statistically open up all of the things offered in that month's Nexus event. And it was insane. A lot of people made, I know Zeddy and even Regis had made like videos on this and like what a bad monetization practice it was. And then they responded with removing the event entirely. They refunded everybody who participated, and they said they would never do that again because the feedback was so bad. So while that is a good thing, you know, that they did all that and they backed up, I don't know, it just gave me like a bad taste. But that's the only bad thing I have to say after Dan shilled it so hard, was like they tried to squeak by like this whole like incredibly disgusting monetization strategy, like even worse than Hearthstone, even worse than Mercenaries. And they tried to squeak it by and then pretend like they didn't know, when like all of their pricing literally in their like mission statement is like, we have control over everything in our game, including like the pricing and like how we monetize, and like we want to make this the most fair. I don't know. It was like a really just like out of disconnect. And there's like, I don't know how you could have looked at the numbers or even like first glance and just been like, something doesn't seem right here. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. But I haven't played it much since then, besides now that it released. I played a little bit here or there. But yeah, it's a free game. It's fun. And it's a good toilet game. Like the games are like sub 1 minute long, so
I feel like there's like this really hard line to toe where you want people to like whale out on your game to make like a shit ton of money, but you also kind of have to be respectful of like normal of your casual players, like FOMO, like, you know, fear of missing out. So like if you like do an event like a Nexus event and there's like a special seasonal skin for someone's favorite character, then like that casual player should be able to invest enough money to get the favorite skin of their favorite character. And there are also people out there that are like, yo, Marvel Snap's my favorite game. I just want to get all the shit that they sell. And like $700 a month is not feasible for like that player. So like if it was like $200 to get all the Nexus events, that would be a completely different story. You know, like then like you don't have to get everything. And if you spend a little bit of money, you can get a lot. But you know what I mean? It's just like the fact that it was $700 is outrageous.
Yeah. I mean, the percentages of stuff was just so skewed. And I mean, even now, man, if you look at the shop and you look at like what you get for your money, like to buy a skin is like 700 gold, but 700 gold is like $10. So you're basically paying 10 real dollars, like real life $10 for one skin for one card. Like that's crazy to me. Like, and it's not like a League of Legends skin where like it's like animated and it has dances and it has special shit, right? It just has special shit. A League of Legends skin to me is worth a lot more, and they're like $3 or $4 most of the time, compared to like a card art skin that has like no actual 3D movements. It's just there. And while that is cool, and it, you know, they are worth a lot, like we've seen in Hearthstone, like the Diamondbacks and like gold cards in Hearthstone, like there is a good value to place on nice skins and nice looking cards. Like, I don't know, the prices still seem to me like really, really expensive. But as a free to play game, I mean, maybe that's what's required to upkeep this, right? Like, I don't know. I may be disconnected here, but like it seems more expensive than Hearthstone. Like,
ideally, I think the game companies want there to be like practically like limitless things for you to spend your money on if you want to.
I think that's
like the business model, right? Like
you don't run out of ways to spend your money. Yes.
Right. Exactly.
Like,
Hearthstone does a good job about that too.
Yeah.
Because like Hearthstone manages to make it that way with like golden cards and stuff. Like having a full golden collection is like really unfeasible. But like if you wanted to,
if you wanted,
you know?
It is possible. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree that the skins in the alternate art variants in Marble Snap are so expensive. Like you said, $10, and that's like the minimum. There's 700 gold skins, and then there's also like 1,000 or
gold
like
skin.
1,300.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, the thing is like, sorry, Dan, keep going.
No, yeah, go ahead.
Like, if you're gonna spend your money on a game, like, I don't know, like, obviously I'm not a game company or a game maker, and I don't like run a business, but like, if you just like, when somebody, like a customer purchases a product, right? And the customer feels good about that purchase. They feel as if their purchase and what they spent equaled what they got. they are more inclined to purchase again. And I think you can relate this to anybody's life. You normally buy and shop at places that when you buy and shop there, you feel like that's why you buy and shop there, is because you like that place. You feel like when you spend your money on an item or whatever, like you get what it's worth. So like in a game like this, like they were to lower their prices a little bit where you feel good about like, man, like, all right, I paid like $2 or $3, but I got this really cool skin I'm going to use for this deck for the month. You know what I mean? But there's infinite things that you can buy. Like Draco said, I think if you like look at the two together, you could like really make maybe not a lot more, but I don't know, just a better feeling of when you purchase something in a game that you're getting what you spent on. But like, there's a million different things to spend your money on, right? Like there's, instead of one $10 skin, you get, you know, 2 or 3, but now you're more likely to buy more of those because you feel like you get more for your dollar. But there's infinite skins for you to buy. There's literally infinite. There are so many skins in this game. There is no feasible way that you're going to get everything. So like combine the two, right? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, maybe even if it was like 500, I would consider it like a lot more, like 500 gold. So it's yeah, it's a lot. That's one of the things that I don't like about it, but I mean, you really don't have to buy the skins, and it's really free to play friendly. And like if you buy the, like, I would way rather spend $10 on the battle pass than $10 on a skin. You get so much more. You even get mystery skins for doing that. Like it's just way better value. Like the pricing, I mean, the game's just released. I highly doubt they're going to change it though, but it's possible that I guess they could change stuff in the future.
Well, when they first
But
released it, you could actually buy the battle pass with gold, and you can get gold for free while playing. And they changed that
yeah,
almost
that's not gonna
immediately.
fly. Yeah.
They changed that almost immediately, so you can't buy the battle pass with in-game currency. So now you can only use real dollars. But I mean, they have to, like I said, it's a free game. They need to make money somehow. So
Yeah.
I guess it makes sense. But yeah.
Hey, regardless, I think it's a really fun game. A lot of people are enjoying it. So,
Yeah.
and you can play it for free. So, hey, play it how you want to play it. But we're just warning you of the dangers.
The dangers. All right, guys, we're about an hour. I don't think we need to do questions and answers if we're gonna make this under an hour for YouTube and stuff. So,
Perfect.
yep. Is there anything else that we want to bring up or talk about, or we want to wrap this up, gentlemen?
Let's wrap it up.
I want to talk about
right,
how
guys.
Draco gave me COVID at TwitchCon.
Oh my, Draco did not give you the vid, dog. You caught that shit on the plane.
No, I got it from XQC. I took a picture with him, so.
Oh shit.
And he
That's
got it
crazy.
too. Once, yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks for tuning in, chat. Again, we're not done. I'm gonna keep streaming.
The
but yeah,
stream is
thanks
not ending.
No.
But thanks for having me on, Warshack. Hope you have a wonderful remainder of your Sunday, and I look forward to talking to you for the remainder of the week. Likewise, Dan, it was always a pleasure to see you guys. Hope you feel better. Peace out.
Thank you. Thank you.
Later,
yeah,
dudes.
Thanks for having me. Peace out. Have a good stream.
Thank you. Thank you.
You guys better not leave it. You guys better not leave it. It's not over yet. It's not over yet. It's just getting started. It's gonna pump the fuck up, boys. Be sick. All right, have a good one. We might get legend today, guys. We might get legend. It's gonna be sick.
For the
We're
first
gonna get
time, we'll
legend.
see what happens.
Yeah, first time legend. Gonna get a new card back. Gonna get a new legendary. Oh my god, super hype. Get some hype in the chat. Drop some duders in the chat. Dude needs your love right now. Dude needs your love.
Dude is dying.
He'll be all right.
See you.
Once you get legend, he's gonna jump right up. He's gonna be feeling so much better. Oh man. Can't wait.
We'll
All
pop
right,
him
have a
up
good
here
one.
in a second. Later, dude.